Setting up a standard assignment submission point, basics. Access the VLE site for the module you wish students to submit a formative or named assignment into. Access an existing content area from the site's left menu if you have one that it makes sense to insert the submission point into. Alternatively, you can create a new content area if needed. Ensure edit mode is turned on, and then, with an appropriate content area displayed, roll your pointer over the Assessments drop-down. Select Assignment from the panel that appears. Give the assignment a name in the topmost field of the configuration form. You can enter details or instructions for the assignment into the Instructions field. Although this is optional, it is strongly advised that you at least provide students with a steer as to which type of files they are allowed to submit. This is particularly important if you intend to annotate text-based submissions. If such is the case, you will want to clearly stipulate to students that they must submit a docx, doc, or PDF, for example, as these will render in the marking and annotation view. Apple Pages documents notably won't render in the Grade Center marking view. Configure a due date and time if you have a deadline for the assignment. Doing so doesn't stop students submitting after the deadline, but it does indicate to students when the deadline is, and will also allow the Grade Center to inform you whether a submission was received late or not. Add a number value into the points possible field. You must enter a value here, or you won't be able to publish the submission point. If the assignment is formative and scoring irrelevant, then you can enter 0 marks if you wish. Expand the submission details section of the configuration form. If the submission is a group submission, then click the Group Submission Radio button. Otherwise, leave the default Individual Submission Radio button selected. Unless you have a specific reason to leave the number of attempts drop-down set at single attempt, our advice is to use this drop-down to select unlimited attempts. This will prevent you having to manually clear submissions should a student wish to make a superseding submission to one already made. For a basic setup, leave the rest of the submission details section as you find it. If during the marking process you don't wish students to see their marks and feedback student by student as you complete assessment, expand the Display of Grades section of the form. Uncheck the box labelled Show to Students in My Grades to suppress the visibility of marks and feedback for the assignment. When you have completed your marking, you can then change this setting again either in this configuration form or via the Grade Center. Click Submit to publish the assignment submission point, noting that by default it will be visible to students immediately unless you have selected otherwise or placed it in a location not currently visible to students. If you don't want students to see their feedback piecemeal, it is also a good idea to ensure the Grade Center's total and weighted total columns are invisible too. This will avoid accidentally revealing marks, if not feedback, to students. This is because overall totals will still increase even if marks have yet to be released for individual assessments. To hide these, locate the control panel below the VLE site's left menu. Expand the control panel if needed, and then click on the Grade Center entry in the list of control panel options. This will expand the Grade Center sub-options that are available to you. Click on Full Grade Center. Roll your pointer over the weighted total column header and click the grey circle with a downward pointing chevron in it. When the drop-down appears, select Hide from Students on/off. Note that this is a toggle option. If the column is already invisible, selecting this option will make it visible again. When a column is hidden, you will see a dark grey circle with a diagonal red line through it displayed at the left of the column header. If in doubt about the meaning of any icons displayed in the Grade Center, click the Icon Legend button at the bottom right of the Grade Center table to reveal a pop-up panel describing what the icons represent. To hide the total column, select Edit Column Information from the column's header drop-down. In the ensuing form, select No for Show this column to students, and then click Submit. It's worth observing here that you are unlikely to need to make the total columns visible again, as students will see their marks and feedback via the discrete assessment information that you provide them. The total columns are only useful if you want students to see a cumulative score for all the assessments you have set in a VLE site.